The views and viewpoints of Wrestling Revival Podcast is not of World Wrestling Entertainment or subsidiaries. Viewer discretion is advised.
It looks like you lost another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Revival Podcast. I am your host, Cyber Yeti, and over here to the other side of me, you see Mr. Notorious approved DJ Notorious. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3. Man, there's a lot of stuff that we have to talk about tonight, man. They're both dreams and nightmares. You give positive feedback to an organization one week, the next week they're slapping you around. They're saying we got skeletons that are about to come out. So before we do that, though, let's go ahead and take care of our sponsor, Ulti Energy. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. Thank you for carrying it over for Season 2. Use our discount code Revival Army for 10% off. When you're there for checkout over at ultisubs.com, they have their metal shakers. Not only that, they've got their big boy size shaker. I'm going to eventually get one of those. I'm just need the money, but it's all right. But again, thank you so much, Ulti, for continuing your sponsorship again for this year. We do appreciate it. For this season. So let's go ahead and check in with DJ. Hey, man, how's it going?
It is good. It's another Wednesday night. A lot of stuff's going on. You know, Meek Mill said it best. I used to pray for times like this. And 1 week, we give praise to Stanford, and we got to take it right freaking back. This is insane. Totally insane.
Yeah, no, seriously, we give praise. We say how good the Royal Rumble was, how much, it was actually interesting, especially the Women's Rumble, but we're about to get into that here in just a little bit. And no sooner does that happen, Monday comes around, and literally it's like the other shoe just dropped. So, man, oh man. So let's kind of go ahead and jump into this. Let's go ahead and we're going to touch on what's left of the positive for Stanford, and then we'll jump into what's going on. Do we want to do it like that, or do we want to hit
that? We kept the people waiting far too long. Let's talk about the biggest skeleton that's come out early.
Okay, let's do it.
If you've been living under a rock, as of last week's show, we were giving praises to the WWE regarding WWE 2K24 and their big, crazy deal involving Netflix, with WWE Raw going over to Netflix starting early next year. Not even 24 hours later, the shoe dropped, as Cyber said, and Vince McMahon is in another damn scandal. That's
no surprise. No surprise again. And Peter, thank you so much for dropping in. We do appreciate it, man. Thank you for hanging out with us again for another week. Appreciate you.
And that's exactly what it was. Vincent Kennedy McMahon got himself in some more hot water. There is a big time suit coming his way. Vince McMahon, WWE, and another wrestler is named in this suit. Of course, the woman that is putting this suit out her name is Janelle Grant. And she says some very disparaging things about Vince McMahon. The word sex trafficking.
That's a very
pissing,
hot topic.
pissing videos and things of that nature, basically given to wrestlers to have sexual favors given out through the company and so much more. This girl was promised a lot and was given the shaft, and pun not intended. Who is the wrestler that we're talking about, Cyber? Would you like to tell the people the wrestler we are talking about? He's a former UFC great. I'm sure you know
Yep.
him.
And we are talking about no other than Brock Lesnar. Oof. That's a big name to have, and that allegation, especially with who his wife is and what she went through with Stone Cold had some skeletons literally in his closet in regards to his relationship with her. And
Yep.
now the same thing's happening to her again in the form of Brock Lesnar, but this time the opposite way, in the way of these allegations. So I'm sorry, but Deborah cannot catch a break.
No, she cannot catch a break. You know, Sable, as many wrestling fans know her as, that is the wife of Brock Lesnar. She's not even in the company. Her name is still getting dragged. It's been utterly ridiculous. It's embarrassing to have your husband involved in such a hellacious suit where, once again, Vince is showing his, I guess he said from an old promo that's been spread around the media, his sexual prowess. And there's no way you could put this here. And what makes this even worse, we said Brock Lesnar, former UFC great, who now owns the WWE. That'll be the TKO group, who also owns UFC.
UFC.
So it just keeps hitting them one way after the other. Vince literally, I don't know how it really went, but this is how it more than likely did. Vince, you got 24 hours to either resign or we're going to embarrass you after the Royal Rumble. Pick one. He chose the first one. He
Yes,
chose
for
the
the
first one.
sake of saving face, which really he has no face to save. He went ahead and did the more applicable excuse me. You see, dude, no, this actually aggravates the shit out of me because this has been going on in wrestling forever. And I'm not talking just about WWE. Stuff was said about WCW back in the day, and even other wrestling promotions have had these allegations pop up before. And I'm just like, haven't people learned already?
Nope.
This is unacceptable because here's the thing: your female workers, your female employees, your female wrestlers, they think that they in their minds they think, oh, this can't happen to me. This won't happen because they're being more cautious. No, right now, this is a big old black eye to the WWE again in the form of Vince McMahon. And this is just gonna hurt other wrestling promotions, and with potentially having allegations come out or even hurt them for gaining talent because they're nervous that this is going to happen to them.
Exactly.
So I mean, this is just completely unacceptable. TKO did the right thing by getting rid of him. I also think The Rock had something to do with it also, because after these allegations came out again, I bet you anything he was the very first person that said he needs to go,
Yes.
because he will not put up with that shit.
They are now in a way where, when Vince was running it all by himself, this has been a company that's been in the family, the McMahon family, for well over 5-6 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very long. His dad used to have it and then gave it to Vince and become the phenomenon that we know as World Wrestling Entertainment. But now with it being sold to what is now under the TKO group, they do things a little bit differently. If this was still Vince, this would have been swept under the rug like it always is.
And it would
But
have been business as usual.
right, but a company that is traded on the New York Stock Exchange, Nasdaq, you
Mm-hmm.
can't be doing things like this in a culture where of a Me Too movement. This is ridiculous. You've literally had kids asking their parents, "What's sex trafficking?" That's not a conversation you want to have with your 6 or 7-year old as they're watching WWE programming.
And like I was telling DJ, I told DJ this. I haven't said it on air, but I'm going to actually say it now because I'm sure a lot of people are going to start thinking this now with these new allegations with Vince.
Mhm.
I will put money on it that Vince McMahon shows up on Epstein's list. He's one of the names that's been redacted. And just in my gut, I can feel it because if these allegations are true, which apparently there's enough validity to it that it sounds like it is something that is been happening, something that's been happening for a long time. Vince has been putting up smoke screens, has been denying the allegations. I mean, you even see old like talk shows where Vince showed up about sexual allegations and he says, "No, I take them very seriously. We handle it. We don't let this fly." When he's the one that's been doing it. There's even
Yep.
rumors that Shane McMahon had even been trying to stop it from happening. Stephanie had been trying to stop it from happening.
Yep.
So the family themselves has been seeing this happen and they have been trying to stop him from doing it. But due to the fact that Vince was the end all be all, nothing ever came of it. Can't hide from it anymore.
No, you literally can't, because now you have put a company where they're very big, literally just a few days prior, has had major news that involves their business, such as the video game, and a major deal with Netflix, which as of right now is still on. They may even try to say, you know what, we don't want to be involved with it. It puts a bad eye on your product, which had its, what some consider their second biggest pay-per-view of the year just this past weekend. So you had all this going on with their biggest, well, premium live event, as they like to be called now. And you have Vince McMahon over your shoulder. So let's now go into this past Saturday, because we did have the Royal Rumble. And how is this going to affect the product? We now know that there was a press conference. So you knew people like ourselves were going to ask the question, and they definitely did. But
And Paul Levesque, he actually did fairly well in regards to dealing with that question. Um, he did deflect, which we kind of all knew he was going that was more than likely what was going to happen once he got up on stage to start talking. So I fully expected that. He wanted to keep it about the talent. He wanted to keep it about how successful the show was. And I can respect him for that, but also too, I feel like now he should have at least released a statement in regards to what happened with Vince, because that shows that he's trying to, if he would do that, that would show him trying to be transparent as possible, not only for the shareholders but also for the fans, because the fans are legitimately concerned. Because if you look on social media, it doesn't matter what social media platform, people are talking about it nonstop. It is not going to be old news for at least another 7 days.
And you know something, I'm glad that you said about, Triple H, Paul Levesque giving his, answers, or somewhat of an answer,
Mhm.
at the press conference after the pay-per-view. But to be honest with you, I think completely the other way. I think he fucked up. I really think he fucked up, because let's go back down memory lane, shall we? There was another head of the company who had, to answer some questions revolving around a like of a tweet just not even a few months prior. And people all over social media, same ones that you're using right now, lambasted this guy, led him to the coals. But meanwhile, when it's Paul Levesque, they want to give him a slap on the wrist. This is the problem that WWE has had, giving Vince McMahon numerous slaps on the wrist throughout his whole time being the leader of WWE. I'm sorry. Paul Levesque should have did more. Honestly, he should have started off his portion of the press conference and just aired it right out there. Something simple of, we know of the incident, we're aware of the incident. However, that is being handled either internally or more investigation, so be it. but his lackadaisical response, there were PR firms that were questioned regarding it and said he must not have had a PR team because that was a disaster. It actually made it worse.
Yes. And I will partially agree with that. Let's take a look at the comments here really quick. Peter, Paul Heyman's 2001 shoot promo on SmackDown makes even more sense now than ever. Yes, because he hinted at what was going on backstage. He hinted at a potential problem that was going on back there. I know exactly what promo Peter's talking about. So
Yes.
yes, it does give it lividity. So it's a problem that multiple people knew were there.
Yes.
That was there. Okay, now looking here, it's like the company's been walking a fine line ever since they first got sponsored 25 years ago. It's a damn shame 25 years later he brings in more controversy. Well, at the time, Vince McMahon was the head honcho until this TKO sale went through. He thought, due to the fact he sold the company to a friend of his, he thought that he was going to still be able to do the same thing that he was doing before,
Mhm.
get away with it. Here's
Yep.
the thing. His friend gives two shits about their relationship when it comes to business. He will do what he has to for the business, and that's exactly what he did.
Exactly what he did.
And now he resigned, but I could tell you this, he was going to drag him through the mud if he didn't.
Yeah, that was the choice. You had 24 hours to make your decision. Otherwise, that Monday morning was going to be even worse. And it would have put a bad light on what was a pretty good event down in Florida with the
Yeah.
Royals.
Also, we got Aaron King. What's up, my guy? The signs were always there about Vince McMahon. And you know what? No lies detected there. That is really what was going on. But remember, at the time, it was just Vince. Yes, it was a public company, but
Mm-hmm.
he still had the controlling interest of the company.
He did.
And once TKO got involved and the purchase went through and everything was good, he no longer had the controlling interest. So, like I was saying just a little while ago, he thought just because he sold it to a friend, he was still going to be able to pull his same shit. No, he can't. That's why he is now gone. This isn't a storyline. This isn't for the sake of storytelling. This is a legitimate problem, and the TKO board took care of it. And I bet you anything, The Rock is the one who spearheaded what happened with Vince.
I would hope so. And I'm glad that they're showing a zero tolerance policy. But let this be a lesson to anyone else who's still there in the WWE. If you have any inkling or kind of siding with Vince McMahon over the years, you could be next to be let go or removed from WWE. They look like they might be doing a purge as he gets closer and closer to their granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania
Oh
40.
yeah. Well,
So,
there's already been a rumor that they're going to start doing. They might be doing some releases here pretty soon.
yeah,
So the lower card, the catering better be careful because they might get cut in half.
it definitely might be. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that they really need to figure out rather quickly. But let us know on social media, how do you feel about Vince McMahon yet again screwing the hell up? Let us know on our social medias. Of course, that is the Wrestling Revival Podcast on IG, and then TWRP_official. That is on X, according to Elon Musk. And then on TikTok, TWRP_official_. How do
Mm-hmm.
you feel about Vince McMahon finally out at the TKO group and WWE? But I think it's only right, since we're talking about Vince, we should give him one last hurrah.
That's after he found out all the bullshit came out. He was like, "Oh hell, mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm."
he heard all of it, so he's pretty much gone. So let
Yeah.
us know how you feel about that. But let's get now to the wrestling, because there was a premium live event over the weekend, and it was the WWE, which a lot of people like to see just because of the male and women's match during this event, which is the Royal Rumble. Now, the Yankee and the Astro are going to agree here. There was one match that was better than the other. It's very simple, and it goes to the women. The women actually had the better Royal Rumble matchup. And of course, 30 women over the top rope battle royal had its surprises. The first one being the return of Trinity, aka Naomi. And then this person, yes, you're seeing right, Jordan Grace of TNA. And then we finally got Jade Cargill making her WWE debut, all in the Rumble match, single handedly picking up Nia Jax with one arm and eliminating her. We had the best her down of the match with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. And the winner, of course, being Bayley. Bayley now gets to choose which title she's going after. Is it going to be Rhea Ripley's title or is it going to be Io Sky? Now, just off of the entrance and surprises, which one hit you the best, Cyber?
Man, I would have to say the biggest one that surprised me the most, like the biggest thing out of the women's Royal Rumble in general, would have to be Jade Cargill's debut and her automatically going into stare downs with both Nia Jax and with Nia Jax and with Bianca Belair. Now, I told DJ this the night of the event. I said, dude, Jade Cargill looked so much better than she did when she was in AEW. Now, that's not me throwing shade at AEW or anything. It's just called she got the proper training once she got to WWE, because she went to the performance center, she went through the whole process of learning the system that WWE has. She was automatically recognizable just by her little vignettes she did on NXT. And then, her coming over kind of the same way Cody did, came over with her name, with her music from AEW and everything else. People recognized her because a good percentage of the WWE fans watch AEW. So they knew automatically who it was the second the music hit, the second she appeared. Everybody was super excited about it. And then seeing how she performed with one of the top female wrestlers in the division in Bianca Belair was amazing. Now, would I love to see a match of Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania? Yes. I would literally be like Fry off of Futurama. Take my money. Take my money. I want to see this, please. So overall, that was the big surprise for me. Kudos to WWE. You can tell they're kind of turning in a different direction. They're recognizing TNA. They are actually giving them credit where credit's due. And they are actually letting their women's champion actually represent them really well. So, I mean, they even got kudos from the WWE for doing it. So, I mean, you never know. Could this be a one-off like Mickie James was? Or could we potentially see a bigger relationship under Paul Levesque transpire with TNA? A lot of people on social media are saying just from this appearance by her on at the Royal Rumble, they already have a better relationship with them than what they did with AEW. Unmute yourself.
I do agree. See, I'm trying to give, the Texan all the time in the world there with that. But I do agree with you. And in this show here, you guys should know a Yankee and an Astro do not necessarily agree with each other. Of course, in about 12 days, we're really not going to agree, but that's another story for another day.
I was about to say that's a story we don't want to get into yet. We don't want to be on here for like 3 hours.
No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to, keep running our mouths like other people do.
By the way, you ain't shit for bringing that up, motherfucker.
Oh, it's all right. It's fine. The champ is here. Shout out to your Rangers. But back to the Royal Rumble. I do agree with you. Jade Cargill honestly was the best part of that. Perfect entrant number. Kept everything the same with her. We do know the WWE is famous for bringing in talent changing their whole persona and making them totally different. It happens. But it was great to actually see that it didn't. So having her in there was definitely good. Her picking up Nia Jax. Like let's speak on that for a minute. She picked up Nia Jax with one arm.
And even kind of got cocky and did the whole
just sitting up there with it, just like I did that. Yeah, and she looks so effortlessly. Now everybody will say, "Oh, she looks so great. She was better than AEW." Let's give credit where credit is due. Without her being in AEW and then going over to train in Stanford, we wouldn't have got what we got at the Royal Rumble.
Oh no, I'm not taking any credit away from AEW because yes, that is where she cut her teeth. She was really green there to start.
Yes.
And then when she left to go to WWE, she did improve her craft a little bit, but she needed that process with the WWE at the Performance Center to kind of get her to where she's at now.
No, definitely did. Definitely did.
So she did pick up some valuable lessons in AEW, but to get her over the top, this transition to WWE was something that she needed.
Definitely needed. And I had a lot of people hitting me up. I was like, wait a minute, was that the girl from AEW? Is that Jade Cargill? And I was like, yes, it is. Jordan Grace.
Let's go. Before we do that, let's hit a couple comments. We have a couple people who've already commented here and on a previous topic. First, we've got Aaron King. Funny thing, Vince sold WWE to this dude because he thought he'd be able to weasel his way back into power. But look at him now. If the song was a situation,
isn't it ironic?
Don't you think? All right. So next comment here, we've got Peter. Crazy that back then when the WWF first became family friendly, Vince made himself to be like Walt Disney, but the attitude and early
Raw era, I'm guessing.
Raw era, I think that's what he's trying to say, was the real closer enough to look at who he was. Yeah, I mean, that is true. He was a scumbag regardless. So
hey, we can't use that word scumbag.
No, not scumbag. He was
an asshole.
Hey, it could be worse. He could be a weekend lookalike off a Wish. Wow, did I say that out loud? Jeez. Let me move on here. We've got Peter again. Also, what an amazing women's rumble. Pretty interesting to see no legends appear this year, and thank God no Hogan.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this real quickly. I give big credit, and y'all love to say on social media, DJ does not love giving credit to WWE. I'm giving them their flowers.
Don't give it too much.
Well, yeah, because look what happens. But congratulations to them because they have the roster where they did not need to call in the likes of Lita, Mickey James, Ivory, whoever. They did not need to do that this year, and they let their talent speak for themselves. Hey, even though she did not win, let's talk about Tiffany Stratton having a good showing there.
Such a good showing. What, she was like Final 5, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. And I mean, the return of Liv Morgan, everywhere.
At number 30, which I'm really surprised.
So, I mean, there is a really good thing of women's wrestling back in WWE. It's just how they actually put it together now. It's going to be the question.
Yeah, and then we've got another comment here from Peter. I mean, look at what WWE did to LA Knight. It was like, what, in the 2005?
Wow.
Well, you got to realize, though, once Triple H got a hold of LA Knight again, what's the first thing that happened? He dropped the Dupree shit, and all of a sudden, all you hear is, yeah, and then that's it.
They ran with it.
Yep.
This is just what he did. But
all right. And Peter, Jordan Grace, what a hot face. And Jesus.
Okay, so Peter is definitely feeling his 8 Mile Road this week with the bars as he's trying to drop there. But no, Jordan Grace was definitely a look there. That was a total surprise.
And look who we have that just showed up.
Oh,
damn.
Damn, man. I heard, Cyber, that that person right there, shout out to Mr. KB Brown, was on a cruise.
Yes, he was on a cruise.
He
He
was
was
on a
on a boat.
cruise.
He was
Yeah,
on a boat.
he was on a boat looking like tugboat, but I'm gonna leave it at that. But shout outs to you, KB. Welcome to the show.
Dude, I'll have to admit, I give you a lot of shit, but you know what? Those pictures you were posting were actually pretty good. You got pictures from a lot of people. The only thing that kind of concerns me, and I said this in space earlier, and I ticked off a certain female because I said this. Why is Chris Jericho looking like Dale Gribble with a Speedo on?
Damn.
But anyway,
just
we're gonna leave that alone before she jumps in here and she starts crying her eyes out. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the final thing here. Peter saying hi to KB. All right, so overall, the women's rumble was actually very good. I was very impressed, and I think we can both agree. Well, actually, no, we wouldn't agree because our picks were different. I picked Bailey off the rip because I felt it. I was like, this is going to progress the storyline between Damage Control and Bailey. This is going to progress it, and we're going to see it come to a head at Mania.
And you are absolutely right. He actually did get that right. Bianca Belair was my selection. She was a part of that final 4 or 5 people that were
final three.
Final 3, yes.
Yeah.
But Tiffany Stratton actually brought her down by the hair and But still was a good match. I'm glad Bailey did get the victory. It does continue the story. Which way is she gonna go? Is she gonna go to Rhea, go to Mommy, or is she gonna go with Io? I think we all know where she should be going, and let's just see if it happens in a few weeks. We talked about how good the female women's Royal Rumble match was. Had a lot of excitement, a lot of surprises, a lot of surprise eliminations by certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the cult of predictability. I think you want to call this one, because the men's Rumble was chock full of we saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
And this is something that we said in the 30-man over the top rope battle royal match. We weren't going to get that many surprises, and it wound up being just that. Of course, to start it off, you had the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. It basically looked like a gang convention in the front of the ring. Then we had the debut of Andrade back in WWE. Gunther, who went crazy last year, also in the event. And then Mr. Woe himself, Cody Rhodes, I believe, came in the teens. And in the end, he's going to Philly because he won the Royal Rumble match for the 2nd year in a row. He definitely listened to Drake's back to back.
He went back to back. Now I'm gonna take the lead on this one too, because this one I kind of have a theory about this. Okay, so just hear me out. Okay, so first off, the one thing I'm thinking of is, there had to have been a list of agreements that Cody wanted in order to sign with the WWE. Of course, obviously, the big one being winning the lineage title, winning the WWE championship. That's like the main big one on the list. But I think along with it, of course, obviously, he's competed in War Games, which is a match that his dad actually created. And also, too, I think one of them was to win the Rumble back to back. I think he has a massive list that he's checking off right now of things he wants to do, because I think he kind of has a time. He has a ticking timer on his career, I think, at this point. He is wanting to complete things by a certain age so he can say, you know what? I'm going to go back to AEW. I'm going to go back working in the back. I'm going to continue growing what I made. Or what might be more likely is he follows his dad's footsteps and he works with WWE, and he goes and works at NXT or works as a producer with the main roster, something along those lines. That's what's going to wind up happening with him. So with him winning the Rumble back to back last year and this year, I think that's just checking off another box for him. Now we obviously know who he's going for. We saw it at the end of the Royal Rumble. He is going to go after Roman Reigns because he wants to finish the story. He wants to get the title with the lineage to it. He wants to hold that title. Now, of course, that is going to require him to go to SmackDown, which he actually has already said, I'm going to SmackDown this Friday. So that's going to be interesting to see. We obviously know he's going to confront Paul Heyman, more than likely, because Roman's probably not even going to be there. And this is going to start the journey. Now, there's one last thing I want to add to this. Well, let me say one more thing before I get to that. We all knew it was going to be predictable. He left AEW at the right time. We knew Andrade was coming because his wife, Charlotte Flair, is in the WWE. He wanted to come back because he wants to be with his wife. It doesn't matter if he's a mid-carder. It doesn't matter if he only holds mid-card titles or anything like that. His main thing is just being able to travel with his wife, which I think that's why Naomi came back, so she could be with Jimmy. That's ultimately what it comes down to. If you're with your spouse, it makes it a lot easier. You're with each other a lot more, and you're not having to try to plan 12 hours to where y'all can be together because you're at different promotions. So I honestly think that's one of the main reasons why Andrade came back, is because he just wants to be with his wife, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he actually had a good showing. He did fairly well, but of course we automatically knew he wasn't going to win. So that was no surprise, but he had a good outing. But other than that, I feel like that it was a really good performance overall. Now, do I think the men's rumble was better than the women's? The women's actually did better, I think. So
Once again, this is a time where a Yankee and an Astro do not usually agree. But I
all
gotta
right,
agree
here we
with you
go.
on some instances. First off, let's just cut the bullshit. Andrade, nice that you came back to WWE. You'll be back in catering probably by the night after WrestleMania. Period. That's what it is. He is a mid-carder at best. Let's cut through the shenanigans, the bullshit, okay? That's what he is. Cut the malarkey. It's nice. He came back. He had a nice showing. He said what's up to a couple of people in the match. Said what's up to Santos Escobar. We're gonna be doing some things later on. Got eliminated. Did him showing up even move the crowd? I mean, remember when his number came up? Everybody was just like, "Oh, okay," and that was it. He got him a new little, mask to come out with, and yay, there we go. Great talent. I feel he was underutilized in All Elite Wrestling, but now in WWE, he will be in catering. You will forget about this guy no later than Backlash. And you know what? For some wrestlers, including him, that's just great. That's all you need. He has his wife there with him. They can travel together when she becomes back to 100%, of course, because she's still out. And maybe a U.S. title run, maybe an IC title run after they figure out what's Gunther's next step. That's all we're going to get from Andrade. Nothing more, nothing less. He's not the worst, and he's not the best. So in that regard, yeah, it was okay. But as far as the Rumble Cody winning, he has to finish the story. Hell, that's the tagline for the new video game coming out in March. Finish your story. So he has to.
It's gonna happen. But also, I wanted to make a quick comment too. I was watching another podcast, because I do that from time to time just to kind of, see how everybody is handling their stuff and also see what other people's views are.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you think about this. This one guy was saying that the ideal situation would be that if Cody does wind up going over on Roman Reigns, Damian Priest cashes in right after.
I'm so sick of these people. Oh!
You really want me to talk this? You really want me to say that? We go in there tonight. Okay. We're gonna
remember,
break the fourth
here wall. For the petty.
Okay, listen here. First off, The Weeknd I know is the theme music for WrestleMania. I don't know why he's doing podcasts now. But anyway, no, 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 and hell no. There's no way on God's green earth right now that can happen. No way. Absolutely not.
No. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
Sometimes people just want to say stuff just to get shock value and to get that impressions and stuff like that. But it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. You're not going to go to WrestleMania, the biggest night, or nights now, because it's 2 nights, and have your night 2 end with Roman Reigns losing to Damian Priest cashing in. What type
No,
of
the situation was Cody winning against Roman Reigns and then cashing in right after he does that.
Also dumb.
It's dumb either way you cut it.
Damian Priest should not be touching that on that night. Once again, here's another wrestler, very good, but let's just say he's just like certain Jordans that people don't like. He's mid, okay? He's
you mean like the pandas?
Not even pandas. Pandas are even nice, but just about that realm. You can't have this guy. He's good for Backlash. He's good for maybe an Elimination Chamber. You know, maybe even a TLC. But you're going to have him win at WrestleMania, where every news outlet, including us here at the Wrestling Revival Podcast, winning and talking about Damian Priest instead of Cody Rhodes. Or hell, Seth Rollins, CM Punk. Those names are 10 times bigger than Damian Priest. You just can't do that. So that's just somebody talking out of their ass. So,
and I could tell you this. This is way more than talking out your ass. I understand trying to build new talent, but there's no way in hell they'll take someone like Damian Priest and put him to go over their WWE cover superstar.
Correct.
And one of their longest reigning world champions. They are not going to do that. They are not going to put that kind of disrespect on it.
So whoever, that person is, you might want to tell them this.
What's up?
Get your mans.
All right.
Go get your mans. Get your mans. Looking here at the comments here, we've got Peter back in here again. Of course, shout out to Cody. Whoa! He finished the story. Shout out. He's going to finish the story this year. If he doesn't, that is going to be a career. That's going to be a momentum killer for him. We thought it was going to be like that for him when he lost last year. Surprisingly not. He kept himself pretty relevant from last WrestleMania to this point. But if he loses again, no, that is going to kill all momentum he has. And then he's going to get lost.
He is. He would definitely get lost.
He has to finish the story this year.
And he should. He definitely should. I don't care. It shouldn't even be against Seth Rollins. I think that needs to just stay away. Let them figure out Seth Rollins' opponent via the Elimination Chamber. Keep Cody on that road to go after Roman Reigns. That's your moneymaker. That's what you've been building all year. You've really been building this since the night he lost last year at WrestleMania.
Because there's already talks going around that they are going to slow burn The Rock versus Roman. They think that it's not going to go all the way to WrestleMania next year. They're thinking it's going to happen at SummerSlam.
Wow. I mean, it could be. SummerSlam is honestly their number 2 or number 3 event of the year, so I can see them doing that. But once again, that would be WWE trying to do it a little bit too quickly. Sometimes you can't rush cooking the gumbo. You can't skip steps. Burn that for WrestleMania. It sells itself. You literally could say Roman versus Rock. That's it. That easy to do. And it'll sell itself. Maybe have somebody going in as a Hall of Famer, John Cena. And there's your weekend right there.
Yep.
We sold you what it could be already going into next year. So that would be great.
All right. So, of course, we had 2 other matches on the Royal Rumble card, which surprisingly, I kind of like this format where they kind of separate it with just 2 matches in between the Rumbles.
Yes.
We already knew what was going to happen with the Kevin Owens Logan Paul match. We already knew Logan Paul was going to hold onto the title. I see him at least hanging on to it until after WrestleMania, because I think they're going to use his social media influence to push Mania, which, to be honest, I don't think they need it. But for that title, I can understand the reasoning behind it.
Yeah. Wow.
So I fully expect that. But it was no surprise Kevin Owens winded up losing to Logan Paul, which, to be honest, I think that's just a waste of time for Kevin Owens. I think after the whole top title thing is all sorted out after Mania, I feel like he needs to get thrown into the mix of that again. Give him a chance.
Well,
But go ahead.
with this match, first of all, this was the bathroom break of it.
Hands
Okay.
down.
Hands down, that was the bathroom break. Okay. Shots fired. Take it how you want it. But
Yep.
here's another one for you. Both of these people I don't want to see come after WrestleMania for at least 3 months.
Oh, Logan Paul, I could fully see him taking a break.
Both. No. Him and Kevin Steen. Yeah, I said Kevin Steen for you old heads out there. They both
getting personal.
need to go. Okay.
He getting personal.
Like, what has Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn, who was the number 30th in the Royal Rumble men's match, what have they done for the past year besides been comedy acts?
Man, here we go. DJ already hitting everybody like this.
Hey, yo, what the fuck these niggas is doing, yo?
Shout out to that bodega. I know what that's at. Shout out to the Bronx. But yeah, it just make sure you have my chopped cheese next week. But what I'm saying is that you can't. No, they both have overrun their welcomes. Logan Paul to a point because he has social media might be a little bit more tolerable. But is this the prize fighter? Is this your king? Kevin Owens looks like half of himself right now. And that's saying a lot because he's a big dude like us over here. So he just doesn't seem into it. He gets no type of reaction anymore. And he just looks like Marshawn Lynch saying, I'm just here so I won't get fined. That's basically what he is. Think about it. Take off the KO shirt, put on a Seattle Seahawks number 24. Who does it look like? Marshawn Lynch. Especially when he's sitting on the top rope like he normally does. Yeah, that's him. Now, granted,
What the fuck?
I said what I said. But granted, we know he's playing with a fractured foot right now. He still competed. Kudos to him. That's nice and everything. But he has been crap since he signed that new deal. Once again, mid.
Yeah. But you know what, though? He's kind of been on that trend since he lost the Universal title, though.
But it's gotten even worse.
Yes, he's gradually done this.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that kind of made him plateau out a little bit was when Sami Zayn was with the Bloodline and they started going after Kevin Owens.
Right.
That kind of put him on an uptick a little bit, but then he plateaued out. And then after all that went down and they got done with their feud with the Bloodline, he just continued on a downward trend. He needs to go away. He needs to reset.
Seriously, he does. So I would love to see him gone. If he was even gone after Mania and doesn't come back to SummerSlam, I would absolutely love it. Don't act like you don't have the people back there. You have a guy like, oh, wait, Andrade is back. You could use him just like that.
See, got Andrade. You have Karrion Kross and his new faction.
Yes.
You have AOP can get into the mix as part of that faction in the tag team division. And I'm not going to get into it, but they really do need to split those belts.
Definitely. I hope that's one of the things that happens, that those tag belts do get split, because there's a lot of teams now. It seems like WWE's been stockpiling some draft capital and making a lot of these different tag teams there where you're going to need 2 sets of belts, Raw and SmackDown.
Exactly.
So hopefully that can work.
Yeah, and then moving on from that match, we also had the Universal Undisputed Universal title match, which was LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. Now, this match was actually pretty entertaining. I was actually impressed because the last couple matches Roman has had, I've been kind of eh. But I mean, realistically, how many matches has he had since this one?
This is the perfect example of someone that shows up to work when they want to, do what they want, do a couple of poses, maybe a spear, and keeps their belt.
Exactly. Just so they
That's
can
what it
get
was.
that big fat check. That's it.
Pretty much. This is how I felt when that match was coming on at the Royal Rumble.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Same
I
thing.
think everybody felt that way.
Same.
I think the last time anybody was legitimately excited about a Roman Reigns match was last WrestleMania when it was him versus Cody.
Yeah.
That's when everybody was legitimately excited about that match.
It was. And not to, make anything bad, it was a good fatal four-way match. You had great competitors in there, AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But it was the same typical thing. Just when you think one of them has the shot, here comes Solo Sikoa with that thumb of his, and Roman happens to wake up and then does a spear, and here we go again. So Roman is still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. I hope I said that right this time. And yes. And then of course he's waiting on Mr. Cody Rhodes in Philly. So
yes, sir. All right. So that was Royal Rumble. I mean, overall, what do you think, DJ? What was the overall grade for Royal Rumble this past weekend?
Well, if I can consider the Royal Rumble was a roller coaster here in the Northeast called King of Ka. It had its ups, it had its downs. But I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I would, you know what? It doesn't happen very often, but a Yankee and an Astro are going to be in the same neighborhood when it comes to this. I give it a 7.5 out of 10 as well. Because, like he said, it had its ups, it had its downs. The downs were a little rough. The Logan Paul Kevin Owens match. But for the most part, it was enjoyable. I mean, they have a good base to go off of heading into Mania.
They do.
Now, what are they going to do when it hits Elimination Chamber? Because we know Friday, Cody is probably going to make his decision and he's going to confirm that he's going to go against Roman Reigns.
Yes.
But that still leaves Seth Rollins needing an opponent. So, of course, we know the men's Elimination Chamber is probably going to determine that.
Mm-hmm.
And if Gunther is in that Elimination Chamber match, which I think he is, we already know who Seth Rollins is going to face, and it's going to be Gunther.
I have a feeling Gunther is still not going to be in that Elimination Chamber match, which is where it's located this year.
Oh, that's right. He can't leave the States right now.
Exactly. So that he won't be a part of that, but I still feel there will be another pay-per-view before WrestleMania, and he will find his way in there. Personally, I think it should be Gunther versus Seth, title versus title. Give me that Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan WrestleMania in the Sky Dome, and let it be just that. Gunther, as I said before, carried the WWE in 2023. It's time for him to elevate to the world champion status. This is the perfect opportunity. You don't need to mess this up. You don't need to go against the grain. This is not this is simple mac and cheese. You don't have to do the recipe that you learned on TikTok. Right there, take it.
Hey, what's wrong with using a recipe off TikTok?
No, nothing's wrong with it. Just if you putting raisins in it, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Okay? All right.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I've been invited to the barbecue for years. I see that shit going in trash.
Yes. So we here at the Wrestling Revival Podcast, if you put raisins in your mac and cheese, your potato salad, or anything it doesn't deserve to be in, you can't come to our show no more. You just can't.
No, can't come to the cookout. No, sir.
No, don't even bring the ice. Just leave. Go away.
Oh man, here we go. Peter already making a comment already. Raisins, mac and cheese. What?
You'll be surprised.
No, I was about to say you would be very surprised,
You'll
sir.
be very surprised. You know, many potlucks I've seen in my day. Okay.
Dude, don't even get me started on potlucks. Ugh.
Yeah, because there's nothing lucky about them pots that be in. Okay, just letting you know.
All right, so that was the Royal Rumble for this past weekend. Let's go ahead and jump to tonight. Of course, you know, AEW Dynamite just went off the air just before we started the episode. Again, unfortunately, I was only able to catch bits and pieces of it because I have to do the family thing before I jump on here. So I'm going to let DJ actually take it and go ahead and do the quick recap, and I'll throw in my 2 cents on it.
All right. Well, when it comes to WWE and not WWE, but AEW Dynamite, it was crazy because we had some things moving slowly towards AEW Revolution. Of course, that is on Sunday, March the 3rd. First things first, who's the number one contender for the AEW World Championship? Well, I can tell you tonight it's nobody. After having their, dealer's choice matches, Hangman Adam Page having his match against one of the members of Mogul Embassy, and then Swerve Strickland taking on the whole fucking show. Of course, Mr. 420 himself, Rob Van Dam. Both guys winning their matchups. We still have the same problem we walked into Wednesday with. So next week on Dynamite, it will be the main event. It will be simply Swerve Strickland, doing his little dance, and Hangman Adam Page. The winner will be the number one contender for the AEW World Championship going at Revolution, going up against Samoa Joe. Now, to begin the show, you had the match between a guy who's still doing his thing for his jobbers out there and a guy who should honestly not be wrestling anymore. Of course, I'm talking about Jon Moxley and Jeff Hardy. Now, surprisingly, Cyber, Jeff Hardy put up a fight. He did put up a fight, but it just wasn't enough because Jon Moxley did get the victory, but then Jon Moxley got jumped. I know it's very shocking to hear, but Jon Moxley got jumped. No, not by the House of Black. No, not FTR. It was CMLL. Yes, a group from CMLL took some exceptions to, things Jon Moxley was doing outside the ring during the Hardy match, and they ganged up on him. It was a beatdown in the ring. Moxley was down and getting jumped and had to be saved by a few people in the back because conveniently the rest of the jobbers were not in the ring or even in the arena tonight for Dynamite. So this coming Collision, you're going to have Mr. Danielson himself taking on one of the members from CMLL. This seems like this is going to be a storyline that's going to last through Revolution. I smell like kind of a gang warfare match at Revolution between CMLL and the Blackpool Combat Club. Am I interested? We have to see how it plays out, especially with Danielson taking on one of the members come Collision.
Yes, and I will say this, with the whole Jeff Hardy, Jon Moxley match, I was telling DJ this just before we got on the air. I honestly feel that's it. You ain't invited to the Mexican cookouts either. You need to stay your ass in whatever part of the world you live in. You stay in your little basement, whatever the hell you want to call it, with your peanut butter and tortillas.
Peanut butter and tortilla. Not even gonna do it.
The Mexican in me is like, no.
Not gonna do it. Just not.
Oh. No. But anyway, I feel like Jeff Hardy is trying to capture his time prior to his Sting match in TNA. He's trying to capture that heel phase he went through with the way he was acting tonight on Dynamite.
He was.
I can tell you this, it's not going to work. He is at the point to where he needs to stop. Tony Khan needs to have that very difficult conversation with him and tell him you have two options. You'll either wrestle on Rampage until you decide you do not want to do it anymore, or else you can stop now and we can find something for you to do in the back in regards to either working with the talent or else being a producer. Those are the options that Tony needs to lay out to him. Jeff, you've done a lot for wrestling and you are very highly respected, even in some people's eyes. They feel like you don't deserve it, but I still feel like you do, even though you've had some of the challenges that you had.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop. Enjoy what time you have left in a wrestling promotion, whether it's helping in the back or helping advance young talent on Rampage, and then retire.
So basically, what you're saying, Cyber, is that Tony Khan just needs to tell him this.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly that.
Push the button. Okay, cool. But it wasn't a bad match like I thought it would be. It was okay. It was, borderline good. So we gotta see what's happening here. But it looks like he is definitely on his farewell tour. And yeah, he's going around to each arena every single week like he's Justin Timberlake this summer. So we'll see what happens with Jeff Hardy. But we did actually get a timeless moment on Dynamite. That's right.
Whoa.
Our beloved AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm was at ringside giving commentary during the Deonna Purrazzo and Tyler Valkyrie match. Which, what the hell's been going on? Where did Valkyrie just pop up from out of nowhere? She hasn't been on AEW television, it seems like, in 6 months or more. But she just showed up, wanted to talk to Deonna, and Deonna gave her the business. And Deonna did get the victory. They are setting up for Deonna versus Toni Storm at Revolution, since it's now just about 4 weeks away.
Damn, already.
Like, January just went by like water, and we're already looking at February 1st tomorrow. So definitely a good Dynamite. Expecting more as it's getting closer and closer now to their first pay-per-view of the year, Revolution. So I expect more fireworks come this weekend and then next week.
I completely agree. It's going to be interesting. I'm very curious to see the Deonna Purrazzo versus Toni Storm match. I could see this, if they do it the right way, I could see this as being one of the top female matches for AEW, to be up there with the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match. This is a match that could make Toni Storm's championship reign.
It definitely can. I think this is that match they need.
They need it.
Because, listen, Tony's been carrying, as we said before. Deonna is one of the new members now to AEW. Give us a reason to like this match. And I think we will.
I think we will, because Deonna Purrazzo, I will say this, I hate how some people are body shaming her and everything else. You know what? She a big girl. That's all right.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. But you know what? She moves around like all the other women, and she does it just as good as they do.
Exactly.
So she deserves every little bit of kudos that she gets from each match that she does. And she did a hell of a job in TNA, a multi-time Impact Women's Champion. She held down that division. And when it's her turn to hold the title in AEW, she is going to do the exact same thing. She is growing her stock and she is growing her name.
I would say this. She literally could become the Rhea Ripley of AEW.
Potentially, yes.
I could see that happening very quickly. But it's funny you say that.
I honestly think if that does happen, her character is going to have to kind of go through a metamorphosis a little bit more for it to get to the point to where she could reach that Rhea Ripley level. She has all the potential in the world to do it. She just needs to make sure, one, it happens organically like it did with Toni Storm.
Yes.
And the way it happened with Rhea Ripley, how it naturally happened after she joined Judgment Day and they were trying to lure away Dominic Mysterio, and then her character just naturally developed from there. So,
and it looks like Peter actually agrees with us here.
That's no surprise.
Absolutely. Thick thighs save lives.
No surprise. No surprise, sir.
They damn sure do. But yeah, I would definitely like seeing her like that. But for anyone that says that She's too big to be doing these things.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you from The Rock, new member of the TKO group. But yeah, we got to look forward and see what's going on. Dynamite should be getting better and better next week. That main event, once again, Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve. Winner is going to be the number one contender for that AEW World Championship at Revolution. Personally, I think it is going to be Hangman Adam Page.
Really?
I have the feeling it's too soon right now for Swerve. It's too soon because we know Hangman is not going to win the title. We know Samoa Joe is not going to give up the title this soon.
So you think Samoa Joe needs someone to kind of bulldoze over first?
Exactly. See, a Yankee and an Astro can't agree because you should know about bulldozing because that's what the Rangers did to your Astros. There it is. See, I got it now. I got it. I understand.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
I get it now. It's cool. It's cool. Too soon? Too soon?
Go fuck yourself.
Wait till September. Wait till September. And both of our wives are going to be looking at us like we're crazy when it happens.
Oh man, that is too funny. That is too damn funny.
Looking at the comments here, we've got Aaron King back up in here. When Swerve wins the title, he needs to win it from a babyface perspective. If he wins it off of Samoa Joe, yes.
Yes, and that's the reason why I said that I think Hangman Adam Page is going to be the Revolution opponent, just because he's the actual face. So I don't think that it would be smart for them to pull the trigger right now on Swerve. That's another slow burn where maybe Double or Nothing, All In, All Out, Grand Slam. Those are the dates I'll have looked around to be. That's the time Swerve would actually win. And to be honest with you, and out of all those dates I just said, All In England looks to be that spot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here for it, dude. I want Swerve to get his flowers. I want him to win the title. I want him to win it off of somebody that is going to make him fight for it tooth and nail. And there is no one better than Samoa Joe to do that. I said what I said.
I mean, Samoa Joe, he just been getting down since he won the title.
I got the hottest ticket again.
So
I enjoy it. It's a hobby.
That's just what it
Samoa
is.
Joe be enjoying that shit.
Yes, he has. And you know what? He deserves it. This is what should have happened back in WWE, but we all know what happened over there.
And what 2K game was it that if you played the storyline, Samoa Joe was Universal Champion? I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was 19? 2K19?
Yes, WWE 2K19. So
you see, even they were already planning it then when Samoa Joe was there, but then what happened? He got hurt in the middle after the release.
That's the only thing that will hold Samoa Joe from losing the title early. I feel will just be injury. That will be the only thing. They will switch up plans and go that different route. But right now, Samoa Joe's doing good as the corporate champion, sort of say. And it works for him. So
yeah. Oh, definitely. It does work for him. And, like I said, he is getting the respect he deserves. He deserved since he was in WWE. And he's getting it now. And also, too, I'm not going to shit on WWE too much about him because as soon as he got hurt and they realized he wasn't going to be able to come back right away, they could have released him.
Yeah, he could have been a
But instead,
release
they
character too.
found something for him to do, and they put him on commentary. Even though people say that was the dark times for him, really it wasn't. Dark times would have been if he got released and he wasn't able to do anything else. But like I said, that's not me trying to defend WWE. That's just me trying to say that it could have been worse for him during that time after he got injured.
Very, very true. So we got to see what's going on with that, but it's starting to percolate over there with AEW with Revolution. We'll be here for it. But that's what we got this week, guys.
Yeah.
That is definitely it. So, of course, thank for everybody tuning in. Make sure that you are following us on social media. That would be the Wrestling Revival Podcast on IG. On Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter, it is TWRP_official. And for you TikTok fans, we got you covered over there too at TWRP_official_. Make sure you're following all of those because there might be something coming down the pipe that you might want to be following all 3 social media platforms.
Very true. And also, this is in very early development right now. I'm waiting to hear from a couple people. But this season, we should start having special guests, interviews, and all the things in between. So keep your eyes out because this season we're going to have at least 1 or 2 special guests with us this season. And it should be very interesting. And one of the names might surprise a couple of y'all.
So definitely look forward to all of that. You guys, listen, there has not been a special guest here on the Wrestling Revival Podcast. There hasn't been one yet. We're making it very special. So definitely pay attention to that. But also pay attention to our sponsor, OT-Subs, OT-Subs.com. Get that discount code 10% off by using Revival Army at checkout. And just that easy, you get 10% off your order. I mean, I don't know how easier we can make it. Everybody's saying
Just
they want to
do it.
Just put that in there. Just push the button, Revival Army, 10% off.
Push the button.
Push the goddamn button.
Push
Exactly.
the button.
Just push the button. It's just like she said. So Revival Army, 10% off, OTSubs.com. They got some of the best shakers out in the country. Definitely check it out. And check us next week as we're going to be talking more about AEW as they move forward towards Revolution. Is WWE finally going to recover after the Vince stain that he left on the company? And
The shit stain, more like it.
Yeah, and somebody may be on assignment next week. Who knows?
Yes, I will actually be on assignment. I won't have my usual background behind me. For my other job, unfortunately, I have to go for a training conference. So I will be coming live from a hotel room. So I will be seeing you the same time next week. And we will still be providing you some good content as always, compared to others who think they've got the killer instinct and the would-be generals and the people I like to ask, how are your Apple Podcasts doing? What did I say what I was supposed to say inside my head out? Oh, oops.
No, just Law 15. That's
Law 15, exactly. Law 15.
Law 15. Just like that. So everyone tuning in, whether you were tuning in on our optimal service here, which is YouTube, or live on X, greatly appreciate it. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell the baby mama's cousin's uncle that we are here every single Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. It is the Wrestling Revival Podcast. So we're going to go. We're going to enjoy the rest of our night. Hope you do it as well and do it safely. And maybe next week, Cyber will want to talk about what happened over the fall.
This motherfucker. God damn it.
So, yeah.
We will see y'all next week. And by the way, that fool ain't shit.
Drink your tears away, sir.